Welcome to the second phase of our breakfast talks. I'm your host, Fred McBagonluri. What we are trying to do is to get some perspectives about your experience here. We all know where Academic City was 4.5 years ago. The dust was spiraling, dorms were not ready, air conditions were not ready, and we told your parents they should trust us with you to come on this journey with us. And now we're here. I am confident, and I told you guys in my last session with you that this is undergraduate. This is it. Whether it's at MIT or Harvard, at the end of the 4 years, you've been tooled enough to get started into the world. You will not know everything, but the essence is to give you enough to get started and to learn new things to build yourself up. So what we thought we'd do this morning is to get as many of you as we can and get your perspectives. Now, what would be nice is to regroup 10 years from now to see where the Academic City experiment has taken you to. And we will do that. But what we also want to do is to catch you while you are still in the area and say, hey guys, what are the things that went well? What were some of the challenges in a constructive way? Because we have to share this story with the rest of the world. That's the story of Academic City at this point in history. You are that history. So, give us feedback. We'll take it. Give us feedback that will also encourage others to want to come here and experience what you experienced. If you told me everything was perfect, I'll tell you guys it's a lie. Everything wasn't perfect. But your faculty and myself did everything that we can to create the environment for you to thrive. Chantel said earlier, when people started transitioning out, it was a little unnerving, right? But some of us signed up to this and we stayed the course. Those are the challenges you see when you start your startup. Some of you have already done startups. People will leave. People will come. It is okay. Each coming is a challenge, each going is a challenge, but if you can recover quickly, it's good. Many of those that left are still in touch with us. They are watching. Sunita is watching, I get messages from her. Dinke is watching, I get messages from her. When I post anything on Academic City, they respond to it. So they didn't leave because they didn't want us. Life changes. People just have to move on to new things. So anyway, without further ado, we'd like to hear from Eugene.
Anthony.
Oh, Anthony, sorry. Anthony. See, I've forgotten your name already on your way out. I met a lady in the hallway one time, and I'm like, Marigo, and she jumped. And she said, you know my name? And I'm like, of course. You were one of my first students. Is she here?
No.
Okay. So, Anthony, tell us a little bit how this journey has been for you.
So, coming to Academic City has been an amazing journey. From level 100 to level 400. There are some...
Can you hear him? Okay.
Some ups and then downs that we had, and I realized that the flaws that we had taught me a very great lesson, and then the good things also gave me experience. I can remember coming, I think level 100. I stayed in the house for like some years before coming, like 2. So I don't remember a lot of things. And I met Abdul. I was struggling with my maths, calculus. So from the basics, I said, if I'm struggling with the basics, what shows that I can continue with the harder ones or the difficult ones? And I had a lot of thoughts like quitting and doing other courses. So I talked to Abdul, I talked to Mr. Razak, and they did great work on me. Abdul taught me a lot of things, and now I'm here. And apart from that, I also met a lot of friends, Jeremiah, Andrila, everybody over here. We did a lot of works, projects, and then, each of us have their own background, characters, and then attitudes. But you working with different kinds of people, like from international, let's say Melissa, the accent is different. Sometimes I don't really hear her well. So with all these things, like I can say that I'm ready for the world because I'm going to meet different kinds of people. Those who have different accents that I can't even hear. Those who speak French that, their language I don't understand. And then one thing too I can also talk about is, during our leadership courses where Professor Fred told us to take initiatives and do a lot of things. And I think that thing really helped me because as we are here in school, we have to entertain ourselves. Then this idea came in my mind and with my friends, Nathaniel, Jeremiah, and some ladies, I think Gertrude, that we have to set up a football, let's say have a park on campus. So last time it was a strategy where we used to involve the ladies. I think the time, I don't know if it was Pav or Majid. Yeah, I think it's Mr. Majid was around. So we involved the ladies in the football, and then one guy shot, like it was a hard shot on one of the ladies. So Mr. Majid said, okay, we have to set up a football park, or let's say a pitch for you people. And not only that one too, I also took, I volunteered myself to be the school coach, and during my tenure, we were not defeated, undefeated tenure that I had. So I realized that apart from academics and engineering, repairing staffs, I also have some experience and other talent to be a football coach, which I got them from here. Because when I think about it, I don't think I'll get those experience from Legon, Ken University, because they actually have their own coaches and they are not students, they are professional ones. And these things, I can put it on my CV. Yeah. And one thing again is, as Barnabas was talking about, we are working on a lot of projects in which I can see the future is right from that project because it's quite amazing. And one thing, and I'll also take this opportunity to thank Dr. Paul. So Dr. Paul has been amazing in my life, serving as a grandfather, father, mentor, everything, shaping my life here and then shaping my life towards the right path. And Dr. Paul, I really thank you.
Oh.
And I know a lot of lecturers did great things in my life here. So I also thank everybody. At first, I was thinking academicity to be an option, but now I can boldly say that academicity shouldn't be an option. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Let's hear from one faculty member. I'll go with Dr. Phil.
Coming from structured institutions abroad and joining academic city was scary. Campus was looking good, but there's one thing that got me in: the future-ready leaders that we were to build. In my years abroad teaching in structured universities, we did not have any of that as the core pillar that we were building. And that brought me in between faculty or administration and students. Leveraging between two departments or faculties, I noticed that the support was there. I was building my confidence working in Ghana because it was totally different. There were other things that were drawing me back, not just work ethics, but I noticed that I have to make it work. Nobody. Oftentimes I'll meet Professor Fred in the corridor or in his office. We share experiences. I might be a few months older than him.
Yes, few months.
But the experience at the other side of the world made me know that I am at the right place. That aside, the students' experience, most I never had out there. One, because of the numbers. Two, because of the wide nature of departments and faculties and courses. But the students proved to me that they were ready, or they are ready for the future. Enthusiasm, excellence, and commitment. They were ready to take anything on. Yes, there were a few that were lazy, but then their mates brought that thing out of them. Sometimes they couldn't approach me, but when I carried assessment and conversation, I noticed the change. That was one thing that made me so happy, that I could see a change in a student as the time goes on. And that makes me a good teacher, if you can notice a change in a student. Not only the grades, but how they move around. They see you in the corridor and you can see the joy in them. Out there, how I feel, if you're lucky.
Yeah.
If you're lucky.
Yeah.
But here we formed a family. And 3 years down the line, I didn't know I'll be here for 3 years. Like Chantal said, I panicked when I hear a colleague had left. But Professor Fred mentioned it. Life goes on. His ambition or her ambition is not mine. I've come a long way. Let me make this work. And when the history is being written, Phil will also be part of it. And I'm happy that I'm having this breakfast meeting, seeing my students, my colleagues still here with me, looking ahead. So I ask you, I don't know who will answer that question, are you future ready? If you are, then I'm happy I'm part of that future. Thank you.
All right. So I'm going to exit and let Lucy take over. We still have. I'm still writing my graduation speech for you guys. But I'll just leave you with these thoughts, you know. The future is going to be so bright. It's going to be so bright. You can make it anything you want it to be. You have to be confident. You have to reach out. You know, grace will not find you under your bed. You have to go out there and seize the world. And, you know, when you go abroad, you realize that nobody really cares where your undergraduate degree came from.
No.
What they care about is, are you adequately prepared with everybody at your level? Because every step is going to be ground zero. What skills do you have to proceed to the next level? But I can assure you, your numbers were so small. And when I look at the other group after you, I just pray that they can do half the stuff that you guys have done. You really took this place and owned it. When you were in third year, we already knew what you guys were going to do. I don't know much about my third years yet, you know. So Lucy is going to take over. I'm here. You know, if you need me, you know where to find me. Letters of recommendation, I'm happy to. References, I'm happy to. We are on this future ready journey with you guys, no matter where it goes. So continue the discussion. Madam Lucy, when I leave, you realize this place will become so relaxed. Everybody is going to be talking. I'm always the problem. So continue the discussion, and we would like to hear more from those that haven't spoken so far. You know, I'd like to hear from Julius. He's been here much longer.
Okay.
Abdul would like to talk. I can see his lips quivering. So Jeremiah is here. Your SRC president definitely has to speak, right? Benedict is doing some amazing stuff. We'd like to hear from him. And just remember, we are here to support you guys. That's what good universities do. I still get emails from MIT all the time. All the time. They want to even find out how much money I earn, you know. So I have to tell them that I'm in that part of the world. It's not 7 figures, you know. But we would like you guys to keep in touch. I would like you guys to keep in touch. You know, don't disappear. Be part of this beautiful history that you helped create. You created. So thank you.
Let's give Dr. Fred a round of applause.
I'd say a big thank you on behalf of everyone. Again, coming here was all uncertainty, but I'm glad our parents trusted us with you. very glad, and your team, honestly. It hasn't been easy. And I think from the conversation we had, I told you that my respect for you has quadrupled basically because of the experience I had when being the president of the SRC. But it clearly wasn't easy starting something or dealing with so much uncertainty. But you've done a great job. Because as you said today, you see us here and you're happy what you see. So a big thank you again. And definitely we'll keep in touch. You'll see us again for sure. For sure.
All right. All right. So we still want to know your stories, those that we've not heard from so far. We'll go around the room so that everybody will tell us the experience and when they got here, what they are taking out, what the future looks like for you. Then after that, we want you to give us what else do you think we can do to make sure that the next generation have as much to hope for or to be like you. What else can we do that will help shape the next generation to be initiators of ideas, to be entrepreneurial, and to be like you guys, okay? So, Reiko, since you still have the mic, can we start with you for you to tell us your story and how you got to where we are today, and what does the future look like for you?
Okay, so starting from the beginning. At the time that we found Academic City, we were at the old building. We hadn't seen this place yet. So really the first time we saw it was when they were dropping me off to start the semester. We were told, the place is really nice. Let's put that aside for now. But to be honest, I'm glad that I came here. I'm glad that I shared these experiences with the people around me right now. I always say this, that uncertainty is now something that is familiar. Because we have walked the path that no one has walked before. We have done what no one has done before. Find the ability. So it's like, now it's all up to us and how we shape the world outside. Some of us have started businesses, some of us have found jobs, some of us are furthering our education. I am going for the job route for now. But mainly because I feel like there are more things I'd like to add on to what I've earned so far to do what I need to do. So from here, I'm actually doing an internship right now, from the national service and then a job. Personally, I'd say my growth doubled over the past 2 years, especially because of SRS. When we came, it was all cool. We had class with Mr. Julian Bennett. He's a very nice lecturer, smiles a lot. His classes are fun. And then the next week, the heat rises up. Like, we have Stephen Amma, very skilled, very intense lectures. And we have calculus. Calculus was interesting. Programming in C.
That's another.
It was fun. Very fun. Yeah. But yeah, all of that shaped us to really dance with the things we're not familiar with, to explore more. And I'm very grateful for all that. And the moments we shared, events, lessons in the hostel. I think I'll never forget the hallway party we had. That was the first party we had. And I think it'd be one of my favorites. The opportunity to start things, to do things here, is what we're all grateful for.
Thank you so much, Reiko. Give him a round of applause. Shall we flip over to a female, then we'll come back to Benedict, yes? All right, Harriet. All right, so over to you, Harriet.
Hello. To me, my experience at ACT has all been about learning. Learning and learning every day. Learning and learning every day. Because when I went through internships, I didn't notice much change about me when I was on campus with my friends. Because most times when you are with people of the same intellect and ideas and thinking, you will not know how much you've grown until you compare yourself to the real world out there. When I went and through my internships, I remember there was this particular internship rank card. Before I left, they didn't even want me to go, and all my supervisors were saying things like, oh, Academic City, wow, you came from Academic City, wow. I never heard of that school, but the way you are always, if they bring something out and I don't even know, the next day I already know about it. Because of the learning process, I would go sit down, research this, something Academic City have really taught me, taking initiative on my own, learning, and the next day bringing the work out. So they are always, before they even bring this out, like, oh, this is what we want to do. Like, I already know this, and this is what I have already done. So what's the way forward? Then my other colleagues will be like, how? We just started. And I'm like, they have already given us this thing to do. So I took it as an initiative to already learn. And not only that internship, but 2 more other internships. Even the freelance project, the freelance contract project I am on right now. My boss always tells me, like the way I go out and research, and even if he just says something that just crosses his mind, by the time he comes back, he asks me, I already know something about that. And to him, that's what he needs in his company. He doesn't need someone who already knows everything already. Because sometimes when you think you know everything already, you are just very relaxed. But if you are in a constructive mood, you are always learning, he can make do out of you. He knows that this company is a startup. So he wants people who will learn, and as you are learning, your knowledge is growing bigger. And I've seen that in almost everybody I am around here. When I'm in school, I see it a lot. When you tell I can approach Oreku and be like, oh Oreku, I found this resource and I feel like this is very, very good. They'll be like, oh, quickly send it to me. I've never told anybody about something, then they'll be like, there's always quickly send it to me. This eagerness to learn is very, to me, I never saw it out there. I remember in internship, university guys and the gun guys, you tell them about something, they'll be like, I found this resource, and everybody's just looking at you. I don't know, everybody's just looking at you. Nobody asks you, quickly send it. Even if you send it, nobody opens it, and I just stare at it, I'm like, wow, how is this going to even work? So I'm very appreciative of the fact that here our professors have always been stressing us on the fact that I won't teach you everything. You have to learn things on your own. I won't teach you everything. I remember Dr. Dume did that to us a lot. We had to even learn courses and come and teach our own friends out here. So it gave us the opportunity to learn on our own, be able to teach others. Before you come to class, you already know what you should, what you can offer to the class. So I'm very, very grateful that our professors taught us that. And as we are going out in the world, we have a learning attitude that will never die. I don't think this will ever die, because as learning from everybody, people are starting startup, and startup is still learning. They are doing internship, it's still learning. They are continuing to learn. Everybody here wants to still learn and do greater things. So I'm very appreciative of the fact that I'm part of this family, and I would never choose any experience other than this ACTS.
So thank you so much, Harriet. So that falls in line with one of our key pillars, which is what? Extensional learning, which means we won't teach you everything, but that having that attitude of learning, attitude of constantly wanting to know more, and being able to see that that's actually working is a good thing. So what does the future look like for Harriet?
So right now, I'm on a freelance contract, which I want to change to a national service contract. And as soon as I went to my boss to say, immediately he's like, yes, that's even what we already wanted. We wanted you to come to join us already. So yeah, I'm very happy that I'm here.
Fantastic. Very much. Thank you so much. So, Mr. Benedict, can we come to you? Yes? Your story, some of the initiatives that you've run. What has your experience been like? What are the key lessons that you're going to take with you? And what does the future look like for Benedict?
Okay, thank you so much for the opportunity. My experience at Academic City has been more of self-discovery for me. I came to Academic City sort of knowing what I want to do. Unfortunately, not getting to do exactly what I wanted to do. It's good to say I came to Academic City not being the university I wanted to go to, or even doing the course I actually wanted to do, because I actually didn't want to do the course I did, IT. But I had to do it due to some certain reasons. Actually, after high school, I worked a bit. I gained some experience in the field of robotics. In high school, I was doing robotics with Jeremiah, actually. And funny enough, the school I wanted to go to, I didn't get to go to that school. And I heard about ACitizens on a Wednesday from someone called Derek Omari, who runs Tech Era. And he told me about the school when I was really about done looking for schools, because I was like, well, it's done for me. And he told me about the fact that the person who is here is the former head of engineering at Ashesi. So I heard about the school on Wednesday, and Friday I'd gotten admission here. Yeah, so it was a very quick move for me, and it was an interesting one. Coming here, what I knew for myself was I had a goal for myself I wanted to achieve. Get like the best grades possible, be able to make an impact. And one of the things that made this place a decision for me at the end of the day, I mean, is the fact that this was a new environment in which I could sort of have a footprint on it. So I came here with like a mandate to change things around. And though I didn't know how I was going to do that, my plan was to try and figure out a way. There are some people who helped us make that possible. I remember walking into the first class with we all had that class. I think it was Com Skills. And I entered the class and Fafa was like, oh, you're the new guy, sit down. and interestingly enough too, there were some people that had actually trained before. Gertrude was like, oh, the robotics guy, Benedict, right? And it was really cool to finally like get somewhere to meet people that actually impacted and are also here to learn a little bit more. I gained a lot in terms of being able to put myself out there. For instance, Miss Diana was a huge impact in the first year, for instance, because she made me, and I feel like a lot of us, be able to be confident enough to be able to sell ourselves. Most of us, I remember Ruki couldn't speak in front of the class the first time, and she was behind the board presenting to us. And I mean, now she can speak for herself, and most of us are able to get that confidence, because I couldn't speak without like stammering and all that, but I gained a lot from learning how to be able to project better and to be able to speak about myself. Also, as I mentioned, I came with a mandate, and someone who made me be able to achieve some of these things was Dean Lucy. I still call her Lucy because she there were times I sat in front of her and I didn't know where I was going to go in terms of I had an idea. She was like, why are you sitting down? Go do it. She sort of had to like push me to get things done, and I almost cried when she left, actually. She was a huge impact in my life, in being able to achieve the things I wanted to do. And with her help, in 3 weeks after I came to Academic City, I started a robotics club here, and I got all of my friends on board in here, and I started working on the things I wanted to do. The same with other lecturers like Miss Eunice, the business lecturer, who spoke to me, and after speaking to her and getting some kind of knowledge in the fact that I had something good enough to be able to start a business around, I started a business during the COVID period around teaching kids robotics. After that, I believe I've had a smooth journey in terms of being able to have a footprint in here, joining the SRC, being able to mentor a lot of students to be able to do more, giving students internships as well with like the initiatives I've put out, I've been able to get into. And that's been because of the pressure academics have been able to put on me to be able to do more than just be a learner. It's more, I feel like it's more than just learning, it's about doing. And that's what academics have been able to put in me, because a lot of the times we wanted things to be done for us. And though we were not happy, management has sort of made us see that sometimes it's not about just asking, it's about you doing and making an initiative before things are put in place to help you. We've had a lot of back and forth with management, and where we are today, I believe, has been because we've been able to put a foot forward to do some of these things that have been able to let them see that, well, we need to help them. They are making an effort, and it's what I feel like should be impacted in the underclassmen, our underclassmen. They've been able to take the initiative. They're not waiting for things to be given to them, handed out to them before they actually do it. So I keep on advising a lot of people that I've worked with, like Nathan in the third year, Janice, Louisa, those who have taken up roles that that sort of had helped pave way for. So I believe that one thing that the school could also do better, which I've also started working out with the tech center, is to be able to listen to some of these ideas. For us, it has been for most of us that we have come in here with things that we wanted to do and where we wanted to do. But it's also a point that not everyone is like us and not everyone can achieve what we've been able to achieve in this period of time. So it's good to also be on the ground and be able to listen to what these students want to put out and extend a hand as well. Though we push them to be able to do what they want to do, it's good for the school to also assist in reaching out. So I spoke with them in Tech Center, and for instance, the Tech Expo, there were a lot of innovative projects. So I asked them to have a meeting with all those who had projects, whether they presented that day or not, and sort of look at the possibility of giving them an incentive to keep working. Can you get some sponsorship for them? Can you help them get some of the startup equipment they need to? And these incentives are what's going to push people to do more, because for us, most of the time, we've used our own resources to reach where we are. But if we had that incentive, we'd have been able to do way more. So for me, that has been my self-discovery, being able to push, being able to take an active step, like not just learning, but be able to do more. And I'm really grateful for Academic City, for all the lecturers. Mr. Julius, for instance, after learning web tech with him, and at one point in time actually leading the class, even before I finished the course, he gave me my first contract from a friend of his. And it was really great to see that when you actually do more and take a step into what you're actually interested in, you'll be able to reap a lot of benefits, and you'll be able to achieve a lot more. So I'm really grateful to all the faculty. I'm really grateful to my friends as well for also being that inspiration. It may not necessarily be I spoke to somebody, but me being able to see somebody, me being able to see Barnabas every night working in there, being able to see Harriet doing a lot more in machine learning, being able to see Angela doing a lot more. I may not have spoken to her, but I've been able to gain some confidence, be able to gain some inspiration, to also push more, to do more, to be able to have that footprint in here. So once again, thank you. Yeah, that's been my experience.
All right, fantastic. Great story. So Angela, shall we move over to you? And then after this, I want you to tell us, we'll move on to Rookie, then we'll move on to Abdul, and then Nana. Then I want to also tease up. Hey, Jeremiah. I think it's because I thought they were going around this way. I've not forgotten you. I want to hear everybody's story, and then we'll take out the critical lessons for you and for us, so that we want some actionable items. And then one of the things that we also want as well is that how are we going to stay in touch with you, and what are you going to give back to us? We don't want money. That's not what we're asking for. But how are you going to support, or it could be physically by coming here, or just talking about us or promoting us. What are you also going to do back to give back? If everything we've given you, you're happy with, what are you also going to do to give back to the school? So Angela, let's hear your story.
Okay, so I think my journey has been full of self-discovery and growth. So I first heard of Academic City from Sunita. I went to African Science Academy, most of you know. And Sunita was one of our first female speakers to come. And then she was talking about helping her friend build this school here in Ghana. I looked at it and I was like, I really want to go to this school. So after that, I went to talk to her and I was like, when will this school be done? Because I really want to apply. And she was like, oh, I don't think we will be done by the time you are done with ASA. So maybe you could, like, the next batch will apply. And then fast forward, when we were about to write our A-levels, Dr. Fred, Miss Rebecca came and they were like, yeah, so our admissions are actually open. And then Melissa and I were like, this is the school we are applying to. We are not applying to any other school. But even that, most of our friends are like, it looks shady because we didn't get to see the real pictures. It was just like the renders and all that. So our head teacher was like, are you sure? Because most of our mates were going to University of Edinburgh, Ashesi and all that. And we were about to step into like this new school. So they're like, are you sure? And I was like, yeah, I am really going to apply. Then I got in here. Coming from a very competitive school where like we are always looking for who will score like 99 or something in the A-levels. When we got here, I really realized that that wasn't really what I actually wanted, right? So I was very shy. I used to roam with Harriet. Harriet was my first roommate. Harriet and Lois. They introduced me to most of my friends here. They would take me there. Then I met Barnabas, and I heard the things that the boys were doing. Barnabas and Jeremiah, they were talking about Arduino and all that. Then I was like, wow, where is all this? So I really realized that in the end, my A levels and all that didn't really matter. What I really wanted to be was like to gain all those skills from them. So that's when I started roaming with most of the boys, because I realized that I could tap into their knowledge. And they also needed my help, because I was helping them with calculus and all that. So I am thankful for that. With that, I've been able to learn a lot from them. And I have been able to find myself, look for what I am really interested in. As a woman, I think in the other school, we were told that we are going to break barriers. There are going to be this discrimination for women in engineering and all that. And I am thankful that I didn't get to experience any of those discriminations, because I was with the best. I think the males were so supportive. Like, they were always there to help you. Besides, I think other schools, the males would be like, yeah, we are the smart people and all that. The isolation wasn't there. It was teamwork all around. I remember working on Baby Baller with Oreku and Jerry, them constantly being in the room with Melissa and I. I think they even slept there once whilst working together. We worked throughout the night and all that. Those experiences and the memories are the ones I'm going to carry with me. That I've been able to work with like such extraordinary people who have been very supportive. And I have learned so much. Like, even when I'm with Barnabas in the workshop, and then someone comes to me and be like, Andrea, can you help me with this? I'll be like, why do you think I can help you with that? Because I remember Oreku came to me and he was like, yeah, you are going to be helping me with my project and all that. Do you know how to weld? I was just joking. Yeah, I know how to weld actually. And then one time at 12 a.m., I found myself like welding Oreku's whole final project before the presentation. It presented me with so many things, and I have learned a lot of things. And I think my greatest takeaway was the fact that people actually saw me as a role model in their field. Because the third years, I talked to them. Farouk was like, yeah, you are my boss. I actually want to be like you. And I always thought he was joking, but he was always there to learn from me. And I think that's one thing I have actually realized, that I actually have a lot to give. And I'll take that away with me. And I also want to thank my colleagues, because all this wouldn't have been possible without them. All of them. Thank you. I think they've all shaped my confidence and all. Because even Oreku was telling me that your mouth has become sharp, because in the first year, I wouldn't even talk to people. I remember the first day, I don't even think anyone saw me talking on the first day at school. I think I was just observing people talk, Barnabas talk, Jerry talk and all that. From Jerry giving me my first nickname. So yeah, just basically talking to this. I'm so excited to see what the future actually brings us. For the future, I will be starting the company along with Barnabas and Jerry. We are building our startup with the wheelchair and then the e-bikes. And also at the side, I get to help a startup that I interned first year. So the boss just reached out and he was like, Angela, can you help me? I was like, yeah, can you be an executive assistant? And then boom, I'm now like chairing meetings and all that. So that's one thing I'm also doing at the side. Yeah, I feel like even taking the startup is full of uncertainties, but I feel like we have a lot of experience, because if we've been able to go through these 4 years, I think we could survive in the startup company. So yeah, that's it.
Fascinating story. Thank you so much for that, Andrea. And indeed, you are a role model. I think what Academic City we like, or pride, to have, is having that good combination of both theoretical knowledge and being able to apply. But more importantly, making sure that you're role models for others to follow. And I sitting here, I get the confidence from all of you. I get the, wanting to be pioneers and wanting to be able to hand something over, to be able to help other generations pick up things that you've done. I think it's really, really fascinating. And I'm enjoying the small stories, the nicknames. So you have to tell me the nickname. So Jeremy, I'm going to come to you. Tell me the story. Tell me the first nickname you gave to her. And how has your experience been? I know your experience has been particularly fun.
My experience has had it all. Right from when I gained admission here. My story is similar to some of what we've heard already, but one thing I would like to say is I'm very appreciative of the admissions team, right? I think the admissions team did a very good job in the admissions team that got us here, right? Because
the admissions team.
Looking at the kind of people that we have around us, it's so diverse. There's so much you can learn from everyone, and that's one thing I don't take for granted, because the learning is just all around. And another thing to also talk about is the kind of experiences I've gotten here. So going through some of the classes that we've had, like Benedict talked about com skills and our leadership sessions, FIE and all that, has taught me how to come out and take initiatives, right? Realize that coming here, it was just empty. There was nothing here. We had to basically build everything ourselves. Prof talked about having the clay in his hands, like trying to mold up an institution. We also didn't really have a lot to look up to. We also had to help shape the institution the way we wanted it to be, right? Building a culture of where people are able to do what they want to do. One thing, for example, coming here, I wanted to go to a school where I could have fun and not get lost, right? So coming here, there was basically nothing like that, right? I'm a very athletic person. I like to play sports, like any sport at all, I'll play. But when I came here, there was literally no place to even push a ball, right? Going forward, I had to take up some of these roles, like in the SRC, for instance. The role I took up in the SRC didn't have my job description doing sports stuff, but because I wanted that, I had to do that, helping make getting our basketball courts ready, our football field, trying to introduce different games on campus. You realize that when we are here, it's not all about learning, right? You also have to have some avenues to relax. For me, for instance, I can have a very tired day, and my friends would be like, "Jerry, you look tired, go and rest." I'm like, "No, I'll go pick my boots, my shoes, I'm going to play football." Maybe it may not, for me, what works for me is after I do that, surprisingly, I don't even understand how that works, but I can go play football, finish around maybe 6, 7 p.m. And the rest of the night, I'm in the workshop working with Barnabas and Angela. I feel refreshed in that sense. So what I would like to say is we getting that opportunity to mold the institution the way we wanted it to is an experience I'll never take for granted, right? And talking about the nickname, right? Always. So I don't like long names, right? So that's what I don't like long names. So if Barnabas like this, I call him BB. Oreku. Okay, let's leave it there. For Andrula, I'll just call her La.
Oh,
Andrula.
La.
Because and there's this famous music group called La Mem, right? So one day I was just saying La, and the name just went, and
It became La Mem.
So that is the name we have.
So what does the future look like for you?
Yeah, so I mean, for the future, going forward, I mean, there are still uncertainties, right?
Okay, which is fine.
For some of us, we seem to have everything. Like, okay, I want to be here, I'm here. As it stands now, I'm currently working with Barnabas and Angela on the same project, right? But there are other things I'm also looking at. You know, our families back home, maybe our parents and all that also want us to do some things for them. So it's sort of trying to balance what exactly we want to do, what we are doing, and also trying to please them at the same time, right? Because after graduating, I mean, my dad expects me to have, something to hold on, a well-paying job, and I'm saying, oh, I want to start my own business. It's like, are you? So I mean, at this point, I'm trying to still balance some of these things, and I feel like I'm very relaxed with that because that has literally been my life here these past 4 years, right? Uncertainties, not knowing what exactly we are doing, but we are doing something, and we will still get the results that we are looking for. Yeah.
Okay, great, fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you. I still remember one of my fun stories of you is relatively quite recent. So with his final year project, and as things would happen at Academic City, somehow on the day that needs to be evaluated, things won't work, right? And that's why one of the things we always say is that gather evidence, just in case when you have to demonstrate it doesn't work, we have an example to show. So on the day he's built his wind his wind turbine, we go there, hey, the thing say I won't move today. Just say even if you blow aircraft, the thing said I'm not moving. So we said okay. He was like, no, I've done it before. It was moving, blah blah blah. It's like, okay, it's okay. Then over the weekend I get a call and a video. Dr. Lucy, look, it's moving. And I thought that was very interesting. He was showing me how much power it's generating, you know, and what it can do. And I like that attitude about all of you, because even when it didn't work, when you had to be assessed, it didn't mean that you stopped. You still carried on after the project, the project was technically closed, after you've handed in your thesis, to still make sure that it works and seeing it through. I still have a few issues with your design, but aside that, no, good work done. So I'm very happy to hear your side of the story. Abdul. Shall we come over to you?
So another woman.
Sorry?
Another lady.
I'm putting the lady so that I have a lady and then a guy ends at the end.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So my name is Abdul. So my name is Abdul, computer engineering. So I mean, when I came here, Dr. Fred said a little bit about my story. But when I came here, I used to go to his office a lot. I used to complain that one of us was like elite guy. I was like some guy coming from high school, just knowing some math and doesn't know how the world works. Yeah, so he kept telling me that you have to get a start from somewhere, right? And in trying to do that, to speed up the process of learning, you have to get to somebody who already knows it, so that you avoid the pitfalls that he encountered when he was learning. I was like, okay, so for the I think 2 years, I was actually working with Barnabas almost on everything. You can ask him. There was this one project we did, so we simulated it on IBM's quantum computer, and we were flagged as malicious because we were pinging their server, the computer so much, they thought it was a DDoS attack, and then they cut our access off. So later they sent Barnabas an email that They thought it was an attack, but apparently it was the amount of computations we were performing was too much. So yeah, so quite apart from that, there's a lot of fun experience. We did the NAS together. There were so many things I learned from him, and so many things I learned from a lot of you guys. So basically, my story was like this guy's story, self-discovery. I came here, I was like, math and physics is the overall. Everything else it's not important. Math and physics is the only thing. But then I realized that, okay, the math and physics, there's a way you have to put it before it can work in the world. And then you need people. So for example, if you go to a company, a big tech company like Apple, right, they couldn't have said, okay, let's just have our engineers and then we are done. They had people who are finance to realize that they need people to support them to make a product out of everything. So I realized that no, I can't just know physics. It's not enough, right, for somebody to pay you just for knowing physics. And so I decided to branch into programming. And then that's when the journey of me and Danaba started. And as Seth said, we exchanged, I taught him math and he taught me programming. So I started Python, little by little, we taught me JavaScript. We did some cool here and there projects. And it was pretty dull, right? So basically I was doing some simple projects and not really something serious, not production ready stuff. So one time I was sitting down and I was like, right in my third year, second semester, mid-second semester, right? So I was like, I sat down and I was just thinking, Abdul, if you compete at the moment, do you have a skill set that somebody willing to hand you money for? Wow, I couldn't answer that question. It's like, damn, wasted my time. Not necessarily wasted my time, but like, I didn't know what I wanted to do. Because coming from my background, I have to get something here. I can't just come and sit at home after school, right? It's like, I have to do something. So I started doing some research. In the process of doing the research, I came across game programming. Yeah, I don't like games already. So game programming didn't appeal to me a lot. I went to other fields, but the one that like struck me was cybersecurity.
Yeah, I knew we were coming to cybersecurity.
Yeah, so hacking and stuff. And please, for any viewers for this, I'm not doing bad stuff with myself. So I don't hack banks. Okay.
Disclaimer: do not try this.
I just have that knowledge, but I don't use it for this kind of stuff. But then yes. So I did some research, and then I actually got a book on reverse engineering. Right. So reverse engineering, there are two facets for reverse engineering. You have software reverse engineering, hardware reverse engineering. So I was like, I don't like hardware. Already, I don't like hardware because I don't understand Arduino well. So I chose software. So in the process of learning, I came across books, blogs, even people. Right? I was lucky enough to message one of them on Twitter, and the person actually replied. I was like, ooh. Like I was so surprised. Like, because those guys, they are very big guys. So if you even message them, like it's gonna take like years before they even reply. So when they replied, I asked them, oh, what does it take to do cybersecurity? They're like, first thing, it's a very difficult field because you are required to know almost a little of everything to be a good like analyst or whatever. So I decided, okay, what is cybersecurity actually? So he explained to me a couple of things. It was like, I can't do cybersecurity because cybersecurity is so big. Like I have to take something so that I can get specific knowledge. So I stumbled upon malware analysis and reverse engineering, and that's why I took it. So normally when you get attacked, the attackers leave some softwares that do bad stuff on your computer. So that's what we call the malware. And then your job as a reverse engineer is just take that, analyze how it works, then build softwares that identify it and isolate it and destroy it. So basically I got a gist of what I started to do my own research. And Pabina, at that time he was here, he told me that if I want to enter any field, you advised me that my final year project should be in that field so that I have something to show for. So I was like, okay, I have to do something related to cybersecurity. So I decided beginning, doing some research. I learned assembly language. The first time I saw it, I almost died. I was freaked out to the core. I was like, whoa, this cryptic stuff, am I going to learn this thing? But then with time I realized that there is a pattern to everything. Like so you just have to you just have to learn long enough to recognize those patterns. And I caught up to it. I caught up with C programming, and now I'm comfortable to say that, yeah, I'm not an expert, but then I
Yeah.
am okay. Yeah, yes, I'm okay. Yeah, I'm okay. Yeah. And I mean, this story is not actually only about me. To be honest, the guys sitting here have done so much for me. Forget about technical knowledge, social wise. There was a time that actually I used to stay in the room so long. Whenever Andula and then Melissa actually came to knock on my door. Abdul, what's going on? Oh yeah, I'm fine. It's like, oh yeah, because it was nice for somebody to not see you for a while and at least call you to ask you what's going on. It's like a small family around. Sometimes when I get up and I'm so low on cash, and be like, one of us can you pass me some 50? Like, yeah, so it was like some small family we created. So I really appreciate guys. I've not had contact with a lot of the non-engineering students. Fortunately, I've had some experience with the IT, but not the business guys. But the little I've had experience with them, I know the future is very bright. I know this badge, we're gonna do great stuff. Yeah, CEOs are gonna come from here. And stuff. Like, I really believe in you guys. And you guys have really contributed to my journey. I want to say a very big thank you.
So what does the future look like for Abdul? Where are we taking that final year project?
Okay, so as I've shown that I want to do this kind of stuff, obviously there's legal ways of doing it, and I will always obviously go for the legal one. I don't want to be an FBI watch list or CIA watch list or something, right? So I chose to go that way, but I realized that even if you want to do cybersecurity, a lot of people advise you to do other fields, so do application development or something first before you jump into it. So that will give you perspective because you know what is used in industry. So yeah, the way forward I see is as I want to work in a field that is not traditionally cybersecurity field, gain some experience about how things work in industry, the software they use. Then now when I get in there, I know where to focus on. Yeah, so the future, I think the future is very bright for me. Per se. I don't have all the answers as says here, but you guys have given us enough to know that we can conquer everything and anything. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So if you can pass the mic to Rookie. And it's good to have some representation from, we've got Chantel from the business and administration department, but we can't do this without communication arts, right?
Exactly.
Rookie, over to you. I'm intrigued by your story, so I want to know what your story has been like.
Okay. So first of all, I want to say a very big thanks to our authorities and our lecturers for being part of who we are today. And also I want to thank Dr. Phil, Mr. Henry, Sir Julius, Sir Michael for helping me to become who I am today. My first coming to Academic City was very challenging. My first week here was whole new to me. I felt like I was in a different universe. Because coming from JHS, AIS to Academic City was different. I had to do things on my own, and the courses that we learned here to really helped me as a person. Com skills, leadership, FIE and all really helped me. When I came here, my first semester here in Academic City, I couldn't speak in public. I was always hiding behind boards anytime I was told to speak. And I was seeing my colleagues speaking fluently, and I was asking myself, my friends can do this, why can't I do this? So I started learning from other people. Some Chantel from Papa, they're really outspoken. So I was like, if these two people can do this, I can also do this. So I started, anytime we are done with class and we go to the hostel, I go and watch spoken videos, presentations and stuff on YouTube, and I try to learn. I even bought a book to read to help my presentations and something. So I can say Academic City has really helped us, and the courses we did too really helped me. Yeah. Dr. Phil really helped me so much. Mr. Enki too. Mr. Enki really helped me. Sir Michael, Sir Julius, they all really helped me. So I want to say very big thanks to you and then my friends. Thank you guys.
So what does the future look for you? Because I already know that you're an influencer, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So what is the future for Rookie now? What does it look like?
Okay. So I'm into business now and my influencing aside. But I also want to open a restaurant. So I'm working on that. I want to open a restaurant, so I'm already working on that. And
Let's see what the future holds. Thank you so much. Let us know when it opens. We'll all troop down there, all right? So we're going to move over to Nana. Mr. Nana Siao, the one and only. Over to you.
So, as many of you all know, I'm Nana Asagwe, mechanical engineering student. Funny enough, Academic City was never my first choice. I mean, I remember before I got admission into KNUST, I'd already gotten an admission from an American school, right, to do aeronautics engineering. And then my mom was like, you, as you're there like this, you're not ready for outside. Because back then, I couldn't cook basic dishes that would help me supply. I wasn't matured mentally. So my mom was like, no. My dad was like, the boy is ready. My mom was like, I know my son. He's not ready. So it became a whole other thing. And I was like, okay, fine. Let me stay in Ghana and mature mentally. Because mothers always know their children better than the fathers. That's always the case. So after the WASI, I got into KNUST and I was happy because I also got aeronautics, I think, yeah. But then I remember I applied to another school in Ghana and I was waiting to hear from them for days. And I called them, they are rude to me on the line, saying if you haven't heard from us, Charlie, don't call us back and all of those things. And I used to be like, how far the application will be? Because I came to one of your programs and you guys guaranteed me that if I come for this program, it will help me into entering the school. And I didn't hear from them again. Then, funny enough, I received a call from a very nice, polite lady called Lorna. Then she was like, oh, this school is here, Academic City, we are taking in new students, blah, blah, blah. And I remember the first thing I told her was, the way you're so kind to me, I'll just join your school. Because it was very pivotal, as Jeremiah was saying, that the admissions team, they knew what they wanted, so they didn't joke with any of us at all. So my dad came here, my mom came here, and after my dad spoke to the director of strategies at that time, my dad felt convinced that this was a school because my aunt was in Princeton University, and when my dad went there for the graduation, he was like, the setting of this school and this structure is basically similar to American university, so this is where I should be. And my mother was like, no, I've gotten tech. Let me go to tech, because all my mates from Akusumbo are all in tech. I don't know anyone here. But I was like, no, this is where you're going. I was like, P.
Good choice.
Oh, yeah. Very good choice, actually. I was like, I call my dad P. I was like, P. Hello, tech. It's well established. Everybody knows tech. If you want to go anywhere, everyone knows tech. Tech is tech. My dad was like, no, you are going to Academic City. So I was like, fine, you're my father. I'll listen. So eventually I came here and I haven't regretted since day one. I mean, I would always say it over and over that Academic City is the best university in the whole of West Africa. Because, in fact, the whole of Africa. Because the equipment and the staff that are here to take care of us and to impart their knowledge and experience on us, you can't find that anywhere. I mean, if you go to the workshop like this, all these machines which are just there available for you to use and understand, it really impacts you. I remember the last time I was at the workshop, we needed to make some screws. And Barnabas was there, and I was like, oh, I like this machine, I don't think you can make something. Barnabas was just quiet because he knew that I didn't know what I was talking about. And he isn't even a mechanical engineering student, which, by the way, is the best course. He was like, you just wait and let me show you what this machine could do. And initially, I was just like, so okay, what about it? And he was like, yeah, let's do this way, let's change. So the machine wasn't really here, but then we had to grease it. Then we realized that yes, this thing was able to thread and make some good threading mechanism. So I was like, all these machines here are available to us for us to explore, use, and to build upon ourselves. I remember coming here in level 100. How should I even put it? We came into the hostel and the hostel wasn't even ready. And we were like, hey, how are we going to survive here? But then arrangements were made. Then eventually the hostel was ready. Then one thing I realized is that the faculty in the school, because of the peer-to-peer relationships that the lecturers have with students, they are able to ask the lecturers any sort of question and they will have time for you. It's not like, as my dad likes to call it, mass production schools, whereby you're in a class of 2,000 and you wouldn't even have the chance to even ask the lecturer, I don't understand this thing, could you explain? Because he is already busy and the TA2 is already there marking script. But then in this school, you can go to a lecturer, especially Dr. Lucy like this. I like disturbing her a lot. And I never knew it was wrong. So I remember Ms. Giselle said that it's not right for you to be texting your lectures past a particular time. Because that's what I used to text her around 7, 8, disturbing her. But then Dr. Lucy, as patient and kind as she was, always replied to my messages and be like, no, do it this way, do it that way. And it's really helped develop me in so many ways as a mechanical engineer. One thing that I would always be grateful for in this school is I know that if I had gone to any other university, I wouldn't have the skill sets that I currently have today, especially with CAD/CAM. And I'll give Stephen Amma props for that. It's one venture that is in high demand. And I know one of my colleagues over here who left the school and is now in the US, but then he is now a TA earning big dollars just because of CAD/CAM alone. And as Abdul was saying, what skill sets do I have right now that if anyone wants to employ me, it would bring value to the company? And CAD/CAM is one of those particular skills that I can use to know that even if I complete school, I also have something earning to sustain myself. And that has really helped me because I remember I worked with, as a result of Julian Bennett, I got the opportunity to work with WPI in designing a particular mechanism for them. I can't say it over here because they are eating at the moment. But then because of the product I was able to design for them, it opened my mind that just like how this school is. Okay, one issue I had with this school was poor communication. And I was like, why would this school never communicate on time and all of that? Then they always give us the information on the D-Day. It was till I started doing my internship that I realized that my boss would just schedule a meeting on a day that we haven't pre-planned. Okay, we have a meeting today. Make sure you come online. If you don't come online, it becomes an issue. So I realized that it's not because there is poor communication, just because that's how the real world works. It's not everything that has to be structured to fit in your place to make you comfortable. Sometimes you have to move out of your comfort zone to do what is required of you, because it's not everyone who is going to sugarcoat things for you. So I think that's all I can say at the moment. But thank you for the opportunity.
So I've heard from everybody, right? So what I want to know from all of you, what was some of the most interesting projects you've worked on? And I want to hear from everyone, so not necessarily just engineering. Rookie, in this institution, what are some of the interesting projects you've worked on? The one that you said, this assignment, this project, this is what I enjoyed the most about.
So I worked on a project, teenage pregnancy project.
Teenage pregnancy project, okay.
That was 2020. Yeah, a teenage pregnancy project. And then my second project I worked on, that was this year, was a talk show with the PAPAL students, GHS students at, what's the name of the place? Just in Hatchery, yes. So I worked on a teenage pregnancy project.
What was it about? Tell us about it.
So, and I interviewed a teenager who had 2 kids at 17. She's a GHS student. So I interviewed her and then I asked her about what happened, the causes of her teenage pregnancy. And we had some discussions, we spoke, and then she said so many things. that I did a video. I did a documentary. I actually did a documentary.
You
for
did a
that project,
documentary,
yeah.
okay.
And then the recent one we did, so we didn't get time to do because it was raining that day. ACT staff didn't help us. We had to do everything on our own.
All right.
Like it went out. It came out well.
So what did you enjoy about it?
I would say knowing myself, I wouldn't have done that. But because of what academic city have taught me and the lectures have taught me, it's helped me gain the confidence. The confidence to be able to go out and to speak to these young adults.
So I see Miss Rebecca at the back there. So give her a round of applause, admissions team then. They were talking about how phenomenal you guys were in bringing them here. So now that you're here, sweet mommy. All right, so Rookie, thank you so much for that one.
With what I want to say, I wanted to talk about it earlier, but I forgot. So there was this point during my first year, right? I think it was the second semester. So before I started school here, I worked with an agency, right, that helps students with college applications and all that, right? Yeah, I helped in another point too. So one thing, I built a lot of connections over there. And during my second year, a colleague of mine who worked with me then was like, so he was in Legon when I was here. And when you compare how much we pay here to how much they pay there, there's a significant gap.
There's
right?
a bit of a gap.
Exactly. So before, some people used to tell me or ask me why I'm helping people get educated outside. Why don't I also go outside? But my dad didn't want me to do that in the first place because, similar to Asabe, he felt like I wasn't up to that level yet. There was this period when, first year, second semester, where there were some issues, concerning how I was going to pay my fees, right? And this friend of mine in question was like, Jerry, I feel like you coming to Academic City wasn't really the best choice. I was like, why are you saying that? He was like, at this point, we don't know how you are going to pay your fees, right? And you could have just come to Legon. Like, you will not have to worry so much about this. And in my mind, I was like, so are you trying to tell me to, in a sense, that's what he was telling me, to actually live here and join them there. But we were able to sort that out. And the one interesting thing is when the pandemic hit, right? That was the defining moment for everything. When the pandemic hit, you realize that quickly our classes were just seamlessly transferred online. I think it was just a week break between. Everything just transitioned smoothly, and we were at home having our classes normal. And this same guy was at home for, months. They were not going to school and all that. After the whole lockdown and we could come out again and all that, I met him again and he was like, hey, so you people are still having classes, right? Because when I met him, I was like, oh, I have to sit in the class right now. He was like, you're having classes? I was like, yeah, we are having classes. So there was no break. I was like, no, there was no break. We are still having classes normal. For like a whole year, they didn't have any school. And he was like, that year was something that he didn't like, because he felt like he was getting down back with that time period. But for us, we're still having classes normal. And that has gone on to affect their whole school structure. Because, I mean, at the point, they had to constrict the whole semester into like 6 weeks. But for us, we were unaffected. And that's one thing that I was also very grateful for coming here. I mean, initially when he was telling me about switching schools and all that, financially that would have been a very good thing for me to do. But that was just a block then, which was, we handled it fine. But I mean, it's something that I'm still very glad I didn't really think into, right? Because in first year, I mean, things were still not set up yet, right? I could have easily done that, but looking at myself right now, looking back, I think that would have been if I had made a decision around that, it would have been a decision I would have really regretted. Looking at the experiences and what I've achieved here, I don't think I would have done that anywhere else. Looking at the people I have around me. Thank you.
So I'll take something from Benedict, and then I just want your final words. I don't want to keep you too long. I don't know how we're going to go through the water and go to wherever we are going, but I'll take, Benedict will say something, Dr. Phil will say something, and then we can take a few final words from everybody. I want to hear everybody's voice before we go. All right?
So I'll just like to commend the Career Services Department in particular. Since first year, I came to this school, they've been doing a very good job. From the time when Dean Lucy was in charge. So
Dean K. Dean Ruth.
Sorry. I keep switching. I'm so sorry.
No,
Dean K. From the time when Dean K was in charge, so now when Ms. Giselle, they've been doing a very good job because they've been helping us in working around internships on the whole idea of being future ready. That has been very impactful in most of the students' lives because from day one, they've helped us get into the system easily, the work system easily. Because from first year, even if, for instance, it wasn't the career fair in particular that helped me, there are times when I went to sit with Dean Ruth and talk to her about things I wanted to do. And I remember she introduced me to Kabiru from Nubian VR. And though I didn't work with him in particular, I got to interact with him and also made headway in where I wanted to reach. There are times as well where I went to sit with Ms. Giselle, talk to her about things I wanted to do and where I wanted to reach. And she's also been able to assist. There are times when she just drops opportunities in there. And though maybe a few people may go up to it, there are times when I've actually jabbed onto those opportunities and I've been able to make a huge impact. In a couple of companies I've done internships with and major players I've worked with to be able to direct me my path. So I felt like that was something important to state. And also finally also say a huge thank you to Mr. Julian Bennett. He being my supervisor and he being the patron of the club, seeing potential in a lot of students. As I feel like Mr. Bennett has been someone in particular as well to be able to notice the talent we have within us, most of the students. And he always has this listening ear, ready to listen to what we have to say and give constructive feedback on it. And there were a couple of, remember you talked about projects. I worked on a project on a hexapod, right? And I was supposed to present on a diversity day. And on that day in the morning, the robots were still working. And Mr. Bennett was still encouraging me. Even if you can get there and let the robot stand, you do it. You worked a whole lot and it's not the time to give up. You need to be able to do that. And even my final year project, I actually got to working 3 days before. And I used to call him and disturb him all the time. I felt like he was with his wife and I was disturbing him. But he always was, he got back to me and was patient enough to be able to listen to me and give me guidance and direction, always advised me to keep pushing. And I'm really grateful for Mr. Bennett. I also wanted to state that. So Mr. Bennett and the whole Career Services Department, I want to say a huge thank you to them as well.
Chantel. So, if you don't mind, we want you to tell us your journey again, your experience when you came to Academic City, and then you can finish off with your final words as we go around. Is that okay?
Sure.
Thank you so much.
I think I started by saying that the Academic City presented to us, or many of us, was not really what we came to meet. And it was my parents who had the confidence in the school before I even did. And I came in very nervous, especially during a few weeks, seeing that I had colleagues who were up to things, and I felt like I was just from high school, and I was someone who lacked confidence, and I wasn't really sure how my 4 years was going to turn out. And that's what inspired me, or that's what pushed me to want to put myself out there and improve on myself. And the journey has been incredible, honestly. And I think one thing we did was, though we knew we had our academics to attend to, I don't know how to say it, we made sure to pay attention to our academics as well as focus on what other projects we were working on. Like, we did not compromise one another. So I think that's one thing we really worked well with. And I've had a series of up and downs. I think the SRC experience was one of the highlights of my 4 years. I began with the Volta region trip, which was it was something else. It was something else. A lot of uncertainties, knowing that you carried some people's children somewhere, then you're having these difficulties. And I'm grateful for all my colleagues. I think I love the fact that we are a small class size, and that has helped us pick something from each other. I can definitely say that there's something I've learned from everyone sitting across here, regardless of how many times we communicated. Abdul, like this, he's a very technical person, but then whenever I see Abdul, I smile, and he will smile back and say hi. And that's one thing. I think that was our relationship, and I really appreciated it. And Harriet has shown that she is into machine learning, and I think one thing I picked from her is someone who is passionate. Jeremiah has been able to juggle so much, and he's done it so well that it's very impressive. Barnabas has he has a whole profile of stuff, and I'm not that much of a technical person to really understand some of the things he did, but then you can tell that he has a lot going on for him, and there's no limit to what he could do. Our very own ex-president.
Yeah. President for life.
Yeah. The SRC experience
was something else.
There's this thing about starting something new and laying foundations, and which we tried to do. And it wasn't easy, especially trying to get some of your ideas across, trying to put certain events or things together, getting people to understand you. We had a lot of up and downs. We had a lot of confusions, late nights. There are times where I wanted to cry because things were not going on well. But I had him he was the most supportive, I think. He was very supportive.
He was
Yes.
Oh.
He was very, very supportive. Then, even though sometimes I'd have my emotions flaring up, he's the one to say, you know what, calm down, let's think about this, talk to me about it, he'll check up on you and stuff like that. So I really appreciated that. And Benedict, I think I've had a lot of fun with him during these last periods. We went out quite a lot, and I think what I pick up from him is his ability to even start a company, which I think is very impressive. Starting a company of his own, getting parents to entrust their children in his hands and everything. It's very, very impressive. And so yes, this is what I have learned. And one thing, you said we could ask questions, right? Yeah. We've all had our experience with Asabre. And almost every time you'd see Asabre's name, I don't know, like my heart will skip a beat because there's just always something up. And sometimes like I'll think to myself, what's going on in his head for him to ask these kind of questions, because I do feel like they are not coming from a bad place, but then sometimes he just wants us to do the right thing, even though it was annoying sometimes. I mean, it kept us on our feet. For the SRC especially, it kept us on our feet. We didn't want to make certain mistakes and then receive a reply from Asabre. Yeah. So I have really appreciated our experience with my colleagues, and I think one suggestion I would make is that the school gives attention to the levels underneath us or behind us, because we entered a situation where there wasn't much. They are entering that situation where foundations have been laid, and some of them may feel laid back and not take initiative, even though they may have certain ideas. And so with a little attention, we could actually get them to, carry out certain things. And I think the last thing I'd want to say is, let's keep in touch. Like, even this last month that we've been at home, I'm sure we've not heard from ourselves, which is not so great. So let's try as much as possible to keep in touch. And I'm sure along our journeys we would need each other's help. And so let's always be open to help each other.
Abdul, final words. We're going around, and when we get to Dr. Phil, he'll say his bit so that we can quickly wrap up. So final words and your message for us.
Yeah, so final words is we're already pushing, right? We came and we met almost nothing. I said almost nothing. We really miss nothing. Yeah, almost nothing. But with hard work, a lot of disappointments, a lot of failures, we've learned a lot from each other, because you've come to realize that the world is not revolving around you, right? You have to work with others. So you have to learn to allow people space when you're around, because we are social creatures. When we interact, one way or another, you step on each other's toes, and you should learn how to resolve those conflicts. Yes, and basically, I believe we're gonna do great stuff. That's all. I actually believe we're gonna get CEOs from here, directors, managers, like serious. Like we're gonna run this country. I believe these guys are gonna run this country.
Rookie, final words.
So all I want to say is just be yourself and keep doing you.
Short and sweet.
Well, a proud parent is that person who sees his children achieving. And I believe we academics here are so proud to see our students, but not grandpa, but our students having achieved to this level. Dr. Lucy will tell you, I love my projects, I love my research work. And to see what you students have come out with for your final projects. I have sat in project presentations, and believe you me, the current Chantel's group, all 6 projects are publishable, and we are working on them for them to be published in good journals, that before they go out there, you have a publication. Now, I have seen that all your projects as well are marketable. With a little bit of tweaking here and there, we are there for you. We will always be there to help you tweak them and have something to your name apart from your certificate. To say that, Professor Fred will always say that he's has so many patents. And that is what I want for you. That you come out of here with the certificate and something tangible you will stick your name to. I'm proud of you all.
My last words. Just be real. Just be real. I mean, always be honest in what you do. And as Abdul says, as Abdul said, this batch of ours is too talented that we have to be CEOs and directors. Just be real. Yeah, thank you.
All right.
What I would say finally is that you should approach not almost everybody. You should approach everybody that is in this batch, because you might think that this person is normal, but there's definitely something they are doing that you don't know, and it might you don't know what gate or door it might open for you. So you should approach somebody before you lose communication or something like that.
So one thing I have to say is we are done, right? Now we've achieved our certificate. People have like so many uncertainties about what to do. I know some people have like job offers and all that, but some of us are now going out to find what to do. I've experienced such thing where you feel like your colleagues are doing much and nothing is really happening for you. One of my last things I'll say is, and it's what my teacher said to me in ASA, that nature will always reward you, removing religion aside, not your God. The fact that we put in so much work and we've been able to start these things, it means that things are going to happen for us. Now, it might not take as much time as it did for other of our colleagues, but I just know and I trust in our batch that we are going to do great things. So as much as go out there and be good, take it easy on yourself and appreciate every step you take, and everything is really going to be fine.
I've said thank you so many times, but I'll say it again to all of you and to even those who aren't here. Thank you for shaping my character. Thank you for adding on to my day every day, for the smiles, for the tears, for the good times and the bad. And I think for the years behind us, the level 300s, 200s, 100s, I'd say from interacting with you guys, you have great ideas. So just step forward, try and implement them. Talk to the school about what you want to do. Take up roles and do the best you can, because you guys are brilliant. Yes, they may compare us to you, but honestly, you guys have it as well. So just step up.
One group that I really want to appreciate is the school's management, right? Even though the school had its plans, right, of what they want to achieve, right? Let's say the next 5 years, we want these structures or these systems set in place. But one thing that I would like to say is the management has also been very accommodating, right? They've tried to include students in whatever we want to do. So, for example, with this building we are in right now, when we came here, it was very empty. They had a plan of what they wanted to do with the building, right? But they also asked students to know what students will want in a space like this. Like, you can see the paintings around. Most of all these things are students inspired, like helping us also create what we want on campus, right? That's one thing I'm really appreciative of. And also with my colleagues here, Chantel made mention of it, like we have to stay connected, because we are going to be the next big people, right? The next CEOs, the next whatever. And there's some of these connections that will help build us up and help us get wherever we want to get to. Yeah.
All right, so I would also like to thank everyone for being on this journey with us. Some of us couldn't really handle the pressure or the rigor, so they left, and some of us decided to stay. I think one thing I'll say to the school though is that a lot of the good things that happened here really happened on our shoulders, and now that we are going, I know it will require a lot of work to also get the other year groups to be as industrious as we were. I think it's just kind of the pitch that we were given in order for us to come here. There was a lot more convincing and people being asked to come, and I feel like those things need to be happening more. So when students come in, we are already setting them up to be going forward. And I would also say, you know, based on my experience here, if you do happen to find a student who you consider a superstar, I think you should do a lot more to shield them from a lot of the politics that happen here. Some of you might know what happened with me, but for me, I always thought about it as, you know, based on the amount of respect I have for Dr. Fred, Dr. Lucy, we just have to keep going. And I know a lot of you have also had some bad experiences, but we still just decided to look ahead at the ultimate goal and get that done. And I think those are things that when we leave, you know, the school would have to really be very aggressive about handling. I would end with a quote from Peter Dalmaris. He was teaching me electronics online. You know, I've never actually met him or even seen him in a live video. It was just audio with his screen shared. And he always used to say, you know, especially if you find yourself in this part of the world and you want to really make a big impact, you know, you need more than just innovation or imagination, but most importantly, you really need a lot of allies. And I'm happy that I can consider all of you here some form of allies in so many ways that we are able to apply our mind to something and get it done. And I believe that if we can employ that same recipe wherever we find ourselves on the surface of this earth, everything we do will be nothing short of phenomenal. So thank you.
So I want to say a massive thank you to all of you. My personal biggest regret was never getting the opportunity to actually teach any of you, because when I came, you were already going into second year. I wasn't here for your first year. But nevertheless, somehow I've managed to build relationships with each and every one of you, managed to get to know each and every one of you. And I am super, super proud of what you've become. And we're excited about what you're going to do. At the start of this whole talk, we talk about what are you going to do to give back? And I only have one request. Just be there for us. When we need you or when we call on you, just be available to support. We also need your constant feedback. This institution is going to work on our alumni update and how to keep in touch with you, because we want to monitor your progress. And I remember when I first came to Academic City, one of my first speeches at the matriculation, one of the things I said is that your success determines our success. So we have a vested interest to make sure that you succeed, because your stories is what we're going to be telling people. So please, as you go out there, know that you have our backing 100%. Know that we still have listening ears. So even whilst you're out there, something comes to mind and you think this is something that you could do to change the experience of school, please reach out. But more importantly, don't forget about us. And when you become millionaires, right? When you become millionaires, you give back to the institution that have made you who you are today. And this could be your time. This could be it doesn't have to be financial, just you being there. Or if it's $50 million too, we'll take it. I'm not gonna say we're not gonna take it. But also, you could sponsor somebody. A lot of you have had an opportunity to get a scholarship one form. You could always look at how do I give back so that someone also has this opportunity. So with that said, I want to say thank you so much for coming to this breakfast. It's been interactive. We've enjoyed having you here. And we wish you all the best. I can't wait to see you all at graduation. I've suggested something to Student Engagement Affairs about the valedictorian, whoever is going to give you a speech. I think we're going to give you a selection and give you the choice for you guys to choose who should talk on your behalf. Once we do that, we'll communicate that with you guys, and we'll see you in August, all robed up, ready for your certificates. Group hug. Big hug. So on the count of 1, 2, 3, say ACT, okay? 1, 2, 3. ACT!